The people who trade there are all 100% women. And the little earnings they make out of that is what they use to buy food, to educate the children, buy clothes, pay school fees, and everything which is needed. But our men, they end up going to bars, drinking. When they come home, they ask them about the food, the women, and if there is no food, domestic violence is rampant. They are beaten, they are chased away, and sometimes the government cannot even come to their aid. So, culture and the business, if we don't change our ways of culture and become supportive to women, then it would appear that the business way of it for men is not balanced. So I appeal to our president of Aido Network International to take that thing seriously and discuss it even with the funders and the other stakeholders, and where need to be on which to talk about, they should also use what we call human rights organs to come in, because now we have branches of human rights everywhere. Even in Kenya we have one. So Aido, with his connections of human rights, can also help women, so that the women can have opportunity to become self-sufficient, have an opportunity to start businesses and run them properly, be given opportunities in the boards of organizations. Give them also a certain percentage which is reasonable. There's no point having an organization whereby there are 50 people and there is only one woman in it. Because normally they say a quorum matters. Even if the women were 20 and the men are 100, so that quorum already kills the women's side of raising up the voice to say this is not good. So it's like just making them do things the women can suggest or want them to do, which is a very, very regrettable thing in this modern world. So, culture is good, but the culture which is biased is not also good. Because biased in the sense that women are not given a voice. They become voiceless and they become defenseless and so forth. So my appeal to Aido Network International and all the stakeholders, let's join hands together and see ways and means of helping our women, building them up. I would be very happy to see if something like 50% is made in all organizations, in all sectors of life, in everything men are doing. The situation as it is now, it is pathetic. You may agree with me or not. Why should a woman labor to carry a child for 9 months, and that child can be a boy or can be a girl, and then the same woman nurtures the kid, that child? Like my lawyer has just mentioned, when they come to school, the man now tells the woman, this one remains at home to help you to cook or to do the housework. It is only that boy who can go to school. And the weakness starts from there. And the woman has no say. And the balance of education is not there. That's even today, the percentage of qualified women in our societies is so minimal. Taking example of the 3 ladies on my board now, the Mombasa one with the Raia TV is a typical example which we can use through this media of TV or radio or news to encourage education to all, with the more emphasis also on the girls. Because they can be seen as sending a girl. So that let us all join hands, regardless of where you are. It can be Ghana, it can be South Africa, it doesn't matter, to see to it that women also are accorded opportunities. One thing is that I used to export a lot of merchandise produced by women. What was lacking as one of the things which buyers from outside need is quality control and quality assurance. They make them as if they are meant for market, because there's a difference between the local market and export market. And those things, when they are just made without quality control here locally, when they go there, they become rejects. And then they write back to say, sorry, what you sent us is a junk. Therefore, we are not going to pay anything. So the old women behind the whole project are paid nothing. And when they go to government or a bank to seek for more assistance in order to improve the quality of their products, nobody listens to them. They are just saying, do you have a collateral? And the women, our African women, they don't have collaterals to offer to banks. I want that lady who spoke on behalf of equity to understand that, because it is only the men they favor. The question of saying any customer who comes to us, we can listen, that's 100% true when it comes to men. But when it comes to women going to their banks to seek for help, financial help, to do business or to improve or whatever, zero. They get zero. Nobody listens to them. They can't even go beyond the main gate to door to the whatever manager is there in charge of giving loans. So what do we do? Like yesterday, Mr. Olsen mentioned about the solar, and he said we need women to have 3 to 5 megawatt solar panels so that when the children come back to school, from school, they can study. The other guy who started talking was opposed to that. He said he was talking of projects of $1 million. That one is not attainable. We want to go to the roots there. Women are suffering. Children come home. They don't have even lanterns, not even candles to read. And now, tomorrow, homeworks are required. After term, exams. End of the year, sometimes end of the year or end of the course, exams come. So those children in the rural areas, they don't even get 10% of the national exam marks. The ones in rural, urban areas, cities, towns, they get 90, first division. Those are the ones who go to universities. Those are the ones who end up being qualified doctors or engineers.
Thank you very much, Ndate George. Thank you very much. That is our executive director from Kenya. Unfortunately, with all due respect to Engineer George, we know that we still have a longer program to go, but we really appreciate and all what you have done. We are going to give a mic just for a minute to our president to thank Kenya. Mr. President, the mic is on you.
Thank you very much, Princess Seppi. Aido Kenya, I think you have addressed very, very key issues that Aido stands for. We know, we always say, we promote culture, but what we do not say loudly is we promote good cultures. There are cultures that at this stage we should not be promoting, especially marrying of girl child, female circumcision, beating of women. So there are bad cultures within us that we should not be promoting. The issues you have raised, they are very, very important. And as an organization, women play a very important role. As you must have seen in the setup of the structure of Aido, it is not by purpose, but I think 80% Aido is run and managed by women. As the saying says, just as you stated, that every successful man, there must be a woman. Personally, as you can see, there's a woman behind me. So that means that I support what you have said. I would also take this opportunity, especially to thank Aido Kenya, the presenters. You are all very inspiring. And Rhea TV, that was a very, very wonderful performance. And we shall work with you and support you in any way possible. We have Starr Radio and Starr Network here, which is broadcasting this conversation live worldwide. So we shall see how to link all of you together and see what we can do. Yes, also, Equity Bank, as you have all spoken, we've got a 1-year arrangement with Equity Bank to promote what Aido does in all the countries that Equity Bank exists. Equity Bank is one of our sponsors for the last so many years. So again, you use the example of Equity Bank with the women. We shall also address and set our terms and conditions. Hey, if you want to work with us, you need also to address A, B, C, D. So all your issues will be taken on. The lawyer, yes, your speech was quite very touching, very inspiring. So Aido Kenya, good work. Let's keep going. And thank you very much. Back to Princess Seppi.
That is our President, His Excellency, Mr. Paul Iganda. Thank you very much for that message of appreciation to Kenya. We are all so behind them. And just a line before we go to the next speaker, to say they spoke so heavily on the violation of human rights on girl child that we can say at Aido we have the department under human rights, as we have seen earlier on the presentation. This is where we are going to be working with them. Actually, there's been a lot of work that has been done from East Africa within this division, even though it was done by just the lawyers. And even now we know it has been strengthened, and we know that we are going to make much more impact. Thank you very much, Dr. George and the team, the wonderful team. Thank you very much to our president. Thank you very much to all Aidoers, and we are still here. If you are still here, say, I am here. Let me see you in the chat as we continue. We are heading now closer to finishing, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we are still in East Africa. Let us just shift to the neighbor, which is Uganda, and there we are going to have Her Excellency, Ms. Linda Nsambabera, to please tell us more. Who is Linda is our Vice President, East Africa. Thank you very much. Madam, take up the mic.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure being here with you. As you've heard, my name is Linda Nsambabera. I am the Vice President of Aido, East Africa, and I'm also the Chair of the Aido International Business Committee. I'm really pleased that we could actually have this event, and today I'm here in a different capacity. I am here on behalf of Aido Uganda, and I will be telling you about a topic that is close to my heart, a topic that is of interest to Uganda, and something that, ironically, Bishop Paponga actually touched on. I hope you can all see my screen. I will be giving you what I hope is a brief presentation. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. For those of you who may not know, Uganda is called the Pearl of Africa. And to be precise, it is the Pearl of Africa's crown. Winston Churchill, on his tour of Africa, stood on a hill in southwest Uganda, in a place called Kigezi. And as he gazed around, looking as far as his eyes could see, and later in his Memoirs of Africa, he wrote about Uganda. He said, for magnificence, for variety of form and color, for profusion of brilliant life, bird, insect, reptile, beast, for vast scale, Uganda is truly the Pearl of Africa. Resting somewhere in the heart of Africa, between the Democratic Republic of Congo, the land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda, and the beautiful country of Burundi, Uganda is a gateway to and from one of the most blessed regions of the world. In some cases and in some areas, further to the west of Uganda, is considered part of the last remaining wilderness in the world. Uganda is a melting pot of different cultures and traditions. We have 56 tribes, 40 languages, a land of kings and queens with 4 kingdoms and many more cultural leaders. And lots of fresh food. Culture is many things. Culture is identity, it is language, it is music, it is dance, and food is culture. Not only because it nourishes our body and our minds, but each time we prepare a meal, we express ourselves and leave a footprint of who we are on the plate. And when we sit down to share a meal, we celebrate each other, our shared humanity, community. We talk, we laugh, and sometimes we even cry. It is said, you have to taste a culture to understand it. And what better way to test than through food? Let me share some insights into Uganda's food and cuisine. Very many people ask me, and probably have asked another Ugandan as well, tell me, what is Uganda's food like? This is the way I would describe it. First of all, each region of Uganda has its unique cuisine and style of cooking. The second thing I say, food in Uganda is exactly like Ugandans. Easygoing, doesn't like to be bothered, and takes its time when being cooked. It is definitely, as we say over here, so UG. Not too much spice, but everything is nice. When we cook, we take our time. We don't rush. We let the food do its magic so as to draw and blend all the different flavors. Because of this, Ugandan food is prepared to retain as much of its natural flavor as is possible. An American friend once asked me, why don't you add some garlic to the potato? And I responded, because I want to eat a potato. And this is what a potato actually tastes like. When people come to Uganda and they taste the food, their first immediate experience, and one that they don't recognize themselves, is that they are tasting the natural flavor of food. When people think about Uganda, they think about the Nile, the gorillas in the west, or sometimes the beautiful climate. In some unfortunate circumstances, they think about Idi Amin. When people think about food in Africa, they talk of jollof rice from West Africa. They talk about pilau from the coast of East Africa. And I'm not trying to start a debate on which country in West Africa has the best jollof. Food and cuisine is not often linked to Uganda, and yet we have a diverse range to offer to meet all food preferences. With a little bit of effort, attention, and the right focus, Uganda's cuisine has the potential to be featured on the international food scene. But before we do that, there are some things that we need to work on. Our current food production, and considering what Dr. Maponga said earlier on, we have the real life dangers of climate change, food security, sustainability of our land, of our environment, and our economies, but also increased inequalities because agriculture doesn't deliver the same decent economic opportunities for the majority of our people. And all this affects our ability to produce food in the right quantities and qualities, which is the backbone of the global food industry in which we may need to participate. So I'm here to say that I have long been told, don't bring a problem if you don't have a solution. The solution for the challenges that I mentioned previously in food production in Uganda require that we invest seriously in culture and in particular in Uganda. In every single step of the way, from food production, aggregation and distribution, marketing and market access, preparation and consumption. And at the end of it all, we need to manage our resources and our waste. When we look at the practices across our entire agricultural value chain, I often hear the need, I often hear people speak about the need to modernize agriculture in Uganda and the rest of the world. And I think I will interject and just draw everybody back to the comments that were made by the bishop. I also hear how difficult it is to get people to adopt modern farming practices. That is because change is hard. Even the highest performing organizations in the world can attest to this. Getting people to change is hard, but maybe it's not necessary. And I often think to myself, this is a challenge that can be easily addressed if we attach culture, because it is not that the practice that is changing, but it is the tools that are used. For example, drying food. We've always dried our food in Africa and in Uganda. Food storage, both for commercial purposes, but also for food security purposes. We had granaries in our homesteads. But as time has gone, some of these facilities have disappeared. Some of these practices have actually disappeared. And it's very important for us to be able to go back and identify them and link them with the modern practices that we know will suit us and will preserve our culture. And in the spirit of that, Aido Uganda is working with communities to scale up some projects. A solar cooker and dryer. The project is using the traditional knowledge on growing cassava, sweet potatoes, and maize, post-harvest handling, using modern solar-powered technology. It also cautiously provides energy to cook food and process reliant on sustainable energy source, solar power. And while we have solar to dry the food, we can immediately connect the homes. The business opportunities are to tap the potential of Uganda as a country that is abundant in sunshine for solar production, and the traditional institutions that we have in supporting the people to live by their culture, by promoting their traditional foods, to provide food security and economic benefits to measure the times. We invite everybody to seize the opportunities. The second is grain cleaning and processing. The business has already constructed silos in Soroti and wants to scale it up to include value addition in the form of processing for food grains and pulses. This will be supported by Agro-Food Hub and a fortification center, an innovative business model aimed at scaling up traditional food production, processing, and food fortification. Coordinate with small and medium-sized farmers to increase production and increase farmer incomes. Aggregate and bulk produce from farmers across the cultural institutions, value addition on crop produce purchased from farmers, and food fortification. And I think what we will also add in terms of the lessons that learned, we will go back through this project and make sure we touch and identify the indigenous seeds, the indigenous cultural practices, and we see how we can preserve them as the bishop actually advised earlier. And so if we do that, then it takes me back to the food. And I just want to conclude by taking you through some common food words if you ever visit Uganda. So, sorry about that. So we are talking about, what are we talking about when we say Ugandan food? Some food names will have you confused as they have no relation to the ingredients. For example, chikomando, a combination of chapati and beans, high protein, high carbohydrates, nutritiously rich, yet extremely cheap. Perhaps it is the muscular build of the workers who feed off this meal that earned this meal its name. Rolex. It has nothing to do with a luxury wrist accessory. It is simply egg and chapati rolled together, and in other words, rolled eggs. You will find it at any street corner. When you visit a restaurant, you will often hear someone say all foods. That is a combination of starches, matoke, rice, sweet potato, and a choice of meat, pulses, and vegetables. But you have to be careful because the volume of starch on your plate will slow you down. And kabalagala, it's not to be confused with the party spot in Kampala. This is the simplest type of fried dough that combines cassava flour and bananas, and it's taken with tea. So, and I will let you in on a secret about Uganda. It is Uganda's street food. From 4 p.m. until the very next morning, this was before COVID and the lockdown, you will find anything from TV kitchen to chikalai. Chikalai is a combination of meat, vegetables, matoke or potatoes, served on a wide plate, and we all come together and eat off the same plate. It is the spirit of community. Famous Nile Patch. Street food allows anyone, regardless of budget, to eat good without worrying about the price. And to conclude, as Bishop Aponga said earlier, we must invest in not just in the food production, but in indigenous seeds, production methods for various reasons. But for me, it is one way of preserving our culture. Food is a central activity of mankind and one of the most significant trademarks of a culture. So let us come together to invest in food, to invest in culture, and to invest in Uganda. I thank you, everybody, for your time. And for those, it's grasshopper season. That is a delicacy that everybody must try if you ever come to Uganda. Thank you very much. I give the floor back to Princess Seppi.
Thank you very much. Our Vice President, Eastern Africa, Miss Linda Sambabera. Thank you very much for letting us know about Uganda. I've always been saying this whole season that my next stop is Uganda. So please expect me. And I know that I will stay at I'll stay at Dexter's, so there's many homes. Thank you very much for that presentation. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget, we are found on social media platforms, all of them. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. So keep on tagging us on this wonderful day, the final day of our virtual conference, the inaugural virtual conference, where we yesterday launched our business division, the business and investment division, so successfully. Even today, again, we see the turn-up is so great. We have had great speeches, great talks, and action-packed as well. We know that our president has also been told from our Royal Majesty, King Hosibo, to say he has been sent as Aido, him and his team, to continue developing and integrating Africa. So thank you very much. And we know as well from our Bishop Maponga, he said, how much of the history are we dragging with us? He said, how are we looking at the challenges of Africa? And how are we contributing as Aido into bringing solutions? Are these solutions Africa-oriented or are they Western-oriented? That was a challenge. Those are the words that we've been left with for us to really ponder on and think on. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, allow us to welcome on stage Dr. Mako.
Hello, Princess Seppi. I think there's a panel before Dr. Mako.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Yes, there's a panel coming in before Dr. Mako. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I'll take over the panel.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us go on. Yes?
All right. Sorry,
Linda?
Mr. Seppi, I'm coming in. Yes, hi. Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you are. I am coming in place of Saul. Saul was supposed to moderate this panel, but he has been delayed. And so I will be doing it until he actually comes on board. So without further ado, the next panel that we have is from the young people and the youth, young people that we have from the Aido network. Some are within the network and some are new, whom we brought from outside to come and join us. And I will go one by one. I'll introduce them. We have Acheng Julieta. She is the founder of The Conscious African. And we have Lorna Likiza. She is from ABOC Directory Worldwide. And then we have Clive R. Smith. So to click off this panel, I'm just going to give the panel. Sorry, there's one more person. I think there is Tembi Sile as well from Aido Youth Network. So I'm sorry, Tembi, that I actually forgot about you. So welcome, everybody. And thank you very much for agreeing to join this panel. I think what I'll do is I'll just go around asking everybody in about 3 minutes. The theme of discussion is the Africa that we want. Maybe what you could do is paint for this panel and for the people what the Africa that we want. We'll start with Acheng Julieta.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. I hope you can hear me. I don't know if
yes, we can.
Okay, that's good. It's good to know that my audio and everything is working. I am the founder of an association called The Conscious Africans, and it's a young association, just 1 year into its development since we started. The idea and the ideology behind The Conscious Africans is that for the things that need to happen for Africa to change, I think that we can agree that there has to be a mindset shift. And when it comes to issues of the mind, if you're going to focus on something, you have to be consciously aware of it as an intention. And that is how you can keep up with it, in terms of continuously giving the time and effort to move in the direction that you wish to see manifest. And so the Conscious Africans is an association that brings about, or brings together like-minded Africans and basically says, what can we do with each other? Being a very young person, I would say, I'm just 26 years old. When I started this association, I was not privy to networks beyond my age group. And as such, the Conscious Africans, the ones who have gathered so far, are a group of young people between the age of 24 and 30 years old. And so far as mindset is concerned, and what I can say about what the youth of Africa want, in my exposure, I was in Australia for a couple of years when I started the Conscious Africans. And while I was in Australia, I met young Africans from all over the continent: Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique, Uganda, Kenya, inclusive. And in that group, I realized that there are certain, I think, fundamental concerns for the youth of Africa right now. The first thing is money. And the nature of the environment is, given that capital as we know it is limited in Africa, especially in terms of entrepreneurship opportunities. That's one of their concerns. And especially between those young Africans in the diaspora, the difference is the ones in the diaspora are like, I have this opportunity to make a certain amount of money because this environment allows me to. If I go back, I'm basically subscribing to poverty, almost, because the opportunities there just will never amount in the same financial comfort or stability. And I think this is what African youth want. They want opportunities on the continent that can compete with opportunities that they have, given the amount of effort they've put in their education or to skill themselves, and the opportunities that are available to them in other countries, especially those that are outside the continent. I think that's the first thing. The second thing I would say. Okay. Sorry. So just to conclude, I guess on that point, the second thing that I think, when it comes to what African youth want, that I can talk about, is clarity for the future. Some kind of plan, so that they know that if they follow in certain steps and if they are guided in a certain way, they will be able to succeed at life if they invest their time in a path. But right now, for so many, the path seems unclear, the path seems uncertain, and it seems lonesome if they're to achieve big dreams, if they're to go far in life. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Julieta. I'll go over to Clive. Clive, what do you think the young people want for Africa?
First and foremost, let me just say, what a wonderful platform. I mean, this is just brilliant to be associated with all these wonderful young people, young voices. That makes me very, very old, if I may say so. I feel old, even though in the South African context, obviously, I still qualify to be the governing body's young person, because I am turning 35 this year. So I mean, I suppose I'm still young. But let's just unbundle what young people are looking for in this continent, and the most important thing, which I think is what everybody wants, is to have opportunity. Africa, and this is because I'm talking my economic background here now. Now, Africa has got a fantastic opportunity. We are the youngest population in the entire world globally. Not only that, we are the fastest growing, youngest economy in the world with young people. And therefore, we are an attraction to the rest of the world. The world wants to be what Africa is, but they can never catch up. Do you know why? Three things. The first one, because we don't want to talk about slavery, but because they took so much in historical slavery, the people that brought up the families of who we are today were all young people. Think about your parents, think about the parents before them, all of them relatively young. Secondly, we did not have a child policy that stopped young people from actually activating themselves into an economy. So we don't have the one child policy, for example, that China had. We don't have a discrimination of policies that stop young people from becoming who they want to be, like we saw in Europe and the United States as well. Here, young people have always been in the forefront, even though to some extent we are guilty of creating such things as militant type young people that actually went into the forefront by doing things that are wrong, like going into the army and fighting for freedom. But that still is still a positive as opposed to being a negative. And I know we've got a lot of child soldiers on the continent, but that means that those young people are conscious enough to make a decision to be part of an activation. And in South Africa, the young people from 1976 that stood up and fought against the apartheid regime and forcefully said education must be equal amongst all. That just shows you the spirit of young people in this continent, that they are actually serious about business. And then the third thing that we've done in this continent that is quite phenomenal. By the way, 2050, as we are heading towards 2050, we will be the youngest ever continent ever in history that produces workers. Can you imagine? We are like a little manufacturing bust of bubbles of South Africans and Ugandan and Malawians and Nigerians. We are going to be creating people that are going to be working in the space where everybody wants to work into. And we are the only continent in the world, listen to this, we are the only continent in the world that can surely say, by independence, we have spread. You talk about the diaspora. Diaspora is very small. Diaspora means nothing. But we are the only one that have spread to such an extent that we have a sitting in the United Kingdom, in the Eurozone, in the United Nations, in the United States. We have the first deputy president-elect who is going to be of South Asian, yes, but mostly of African descent, who is going to be leading us for the next 4 years in the United States. What the hell are we not celebrating about as African people? I don't know. We should celebrate that. That is youth. That is young people. That's what we are able to do. That is what is capable of us to be able to actually do in the entire world. That means that we're just not producing jewelry. We're not just producing 90% of the world's platinum. We're not just producing gold. We're not just producing cashew nuts. We are so diverse that as a continent, we are producing the most highly competitive procurement, policing, and most important part of the economic diaspora in the world that is ever seen. So we cannot complain as young people. You can't say, oh, you know, I'm African, that's why I can't speak. You ask Ludwig Mamabolo, a South African who created what the UN is now calling a dry soap, what they're washing with now. The UN, the United States Army in Iraq, in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, they're using that soap currently. You speak about Alia Lobaluti, just here in Kenya, and you guys will know about her because she's created a technology that is enabled people to be able to send money the fastest way, more than even all the apps can be able to do, because she's very smart. She saw that before anybody, and she's a woman, by the way. I just want to remind you, she's a girl. And we've got people in the United Kingdom who are creating platforms and generating things in terms of music and entertainment. We are there. We've got the talent. And I don't want to talk about my Kenyan brothers and sisters who outrace anyone on any marathon, despite the fact that we are facing competition. They are the fastest, by the way, in the world. You can't beat that. But the answer to the question is, what is next for Africa? And the next for Africa,
but maybe
by young people.
I think I will come back to that point. Let me just bring in the next person to also have a chance. Lorna, are you there? Yeah, I know, Lorna, you work on making Africans a bit more visible. So do come in and tell us from your perspective, what is that we want for Africa going forward?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Aidoers. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can.
I'm Lorna, the CEO of Worldwide Directory, and I'm also the part owner of the same platform. ABOK Worldwide Directory is a registered online business magazine and businesses worldwide, based in Germany. I am based in Nakuru, Kenya, and founder and descendant in Germany. And I'd like to say to African youth are doing businesses in our landscape. There are a lot of African youth that I keep listing who are doing amazing businesses, amazing. And what I think African youth would like is to be believed in first, to be nurtured, to be mentored, and to be encouraged to reach their maximum potential. Because actually I'm wearing this Lorna, the band, an armband. I would believe this band made by a Form 3 student. That is a 15 or 16-year-old. A child who has a lot of potential. Potential is not maximized enough because there's lack of encouragement, mentors to look up to. And actually this child I have to mention is from, and this is, I feel that based on how can we hold the African in a manner that people and they can be able to do their businesses without fear, uncertainty, because they know everyone is behind them. So basically that's what I feel African youth would want. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah, thank you very much, Lorna. Tembi, could you come in? You are from the Aido Youth Network, and just tell us a bit, about the Aido Youth Network and how it features in terms of the vision for Africa that the youth want. Hi, Tembi. Okay, as we wait for Tembi to actually come in, I think what I'll do is I'll just go back to Julieta. When I was engaging you, one of the things that you were very interested in is the issue about the generation divide. We've talked about this before, in terms of the generation divide, the young and the old. And I think what we see in terms of the disparity when we're talking about creating a vision is that the older generations seem to have a certain set of values that they subscribe to, and we have a younger generation that's coming up with their own set of values. Where do you see that, in terms of creating friction in creating a new vision, and how do we navigate it going forward?
It's interesting you mentioned that, because that's one of the things that I had actually noted down to talk about today. And in that sense, I think that's one of the greatest questions Africans have to answer moving forward. There is, I think, a culture of holding on to what is and what has been passed down. But in my own opinion and in my own research, I think that today all generations of Africans living alive today have a limited, in terms of the database and the knowledge which is passed down to us. We are not like Europe countries that have books and novels about what their history has been 1,000 years prior, such that when we look at what culture is today, we can accurately measure it according to what was and say this is the value in terms of what is. And so I think where the biggest challenge is coming in terms of generations understanding each other, whereby I would say the youth generation is currently, say, 18 to 35 years old. Then you have another generation that's 35 years old to 50 years old, and then you have 50 to 65 years old, and then 65 years old and above. The biggest divide, I think, in terms of ideologies is between the generation that's between the age of 18 and 35, and that one that's between 50 and 65 and above. And it's not because of anything, but it is because the dynamics and the circumstances of life have changed. People who are my age literally are siblings with the internet. And we have seen how much the internet has changed since '94. So you can imagine what the people who have grown up as siblings of the internet, in terms of their minds, what they are like. They're dynamic, they're fast moving. Slow things that take a lot of patience tend to be a bit more difficult for them to tolerate and to figure out and to learn. Whereas generations that are much older have that patience, the patience to go step by step, to focus on details, to not be in rush, to accumulate so much. And I think that this is where the relationship needs to be, catered to and fostered in understanding that these are the differences in terms of mindset that are happening. First, before we even bring up the cultural aspects of what is and what is to be passed on and what is to remain and what is should be left where it is and not moved forward, is just first of all seeing what is the difference in the mindsets between Africans who are in these different age groups. And then once we can, kind of have an understanding of what the difference in the mindsets are, how do we begin to incorporate what culture is today and have a conversation around how it should evolve? Because culture evolves from generation to generation. This is something that we are, aware of as far as history has taught us. But the question that we have now as Africans is, where culture is right now, and given our different mindsets across generations, what is the package that works for us today? And in working for us today, meaning that it is going to work for us in the future, or it is what we are choosing to pass on in the future. That's a very complex question for Africans across the board. And it is not something that has a strategy or a formula to it. It is something that only discussion and sharing can air out and all that, which is one of the reasons I'm very happy to be here today. Because in this conversation, we have people from different age groups, and so the discussion is being fostered. And that is how we can begin to listen to each other and kind of get an idea of where everyone is in terms of mindset. And then after these discussions have happened, then we can start to consolidate and say, okay, what is the cultural package that we are looking at that we want to maintain and also move forward with as Africans?
Okay. Thank you very much, Acheng, for that. And Tembi, we have a group of Aido Youth Network that has people as old as, I shall not name them, but they're here in this group, and people as young as yourselves and even younger. What can you tell us in terms of the Aido Youth Network and how it works to frame the Africa that we want for the young people?
Thank you very much, Linda. I think first I'd like to greet His Highness, the President of Aido, His Highness Pintiganda, and I'd like to greet all royals, kings and queens, and all protocol observed. I am Timbisile Mahua. I come all the way from South Africa. However, I'm not representing South Africa or myself. I am representing the Aido Youth Network on my capacity as that director. These types of conferences are very important, and this is exactly what we need as young people to shape Africa moving forward. The speakers have already spoken about opportunities that are there for young people to be able to advance Africa, to advance our plans to advance the country. But more than anything, young people have been innovators. Young people have been moving in spaces where they're innovating things. They're coming up with new manners in doing things. And this is what we've been lacking a lot of funds. I think maybe that is something that has not been introduced thus far in this conversation, that young people do not have access to the correct funds. And when they do have access to funds, then it might not be the perfect deal for Africa or for that young person. I mean, we do right now have a matter of a young person that had invented the Please Call Me app, but is in 20 years still trying to get money from that invention that he did. We've got young people that are inventing so many proper inventions, but however, they do not have funding. But if they do have access to funding, some of the funding is not necessarily beneficial to young people or to themselves. So I think maybe that's one of the things that I would say that has not been mentioned in this conference by my fellow leaders as they have spoken, and I do agree with them. So as young people in Aido, we've got a lot of young academics that are doing great in the academical spaces. We've got young innovators. We've got a 14-year-old from Nigeria that is doing carpentry and that is doing furniture with tires. So we've got a lot of young people that are doing great things in Aido, and this opportunity, this space is exactly what they need to take Africa and the countries forward. Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much. It's very interesting that you actually mentioned the access to the to resources, because one of the biggest dilemmas that I find is when I was going through school, we were told it was the responsibility for government and the leaders of the countries to create job opportunities. But somewhere along the way, in my view, they have absconded from that responsibility. And now the common thing that everybody is saying is that the youth need to become job creators. So the question is, the youth don't have access. If the people who have access to the resources, who are the governments, they have the access to the money, they have access to the minerals, they control access to resources. If those people in their capacity with all the access that they have can't create the opportunities that the young people need, then how is it that we actually expect the young people who have zero access to then create the economic opportunities that are actually needed? And so I want to take that to Lona. In terms of being resourceful, knowing that there is a limited access of resources, where do you start from as a young person? Where are the opportunities to kind of like bootstrap to move it along? Because it can be a little bit disillusioning to look around when everything is out of reach.
Thank you, Linda, for your question. I understand that I have sound issues, but that's because of the connectivity and the street outside. So kindly, can you hear me?
It keeps going in and out.
So, yeah, I have activity on my end. I can't really help it, but I really get something. Is it okay now?
No, just try and get through it.
So there's something I feel like. So like I need to talk about. What we do at ABOC Worldwide Directory, we list businesses for African and on ABOC, we do not
Lona, because of your sound issues, what I'm going to suggest you do, record your message, and then send it to me via WhatsApp, and then we'll play it. Yeah, is that okay? Because we really can't hear you. Yeah. Okay, so let me. Hello? Okay, so now let me take that question to Clive. Those who have access to resources have failed to create the opportunities. But now those who don't have access to the resources have been encumbered with the responsibility of creating the opportunities. How do you break the deadlock?
Linda, I must apologize because I didn't greet everyone. Firstly, I apologize. I just jumped into matter of things, and let me just say thank you very much the organizers and the honorable members protocol all protocol observed. Let me just say how wonderful it is to have my sisters with me on this platform, having you run this particular dialogue, having the other sisters as well, young people. By the way, being 35 is old. You know? I'm 35, so obviously I feel a bit older to be on the platform. Here's the thing about access to capital. We know that it is the biggest problem, not just for Africa, but for the rest of the world. Even the guys that I mentioned to you before, like Ludwig, they've had to go out, and he actually got endorsement from the UN to be able to get access to funding that he required. His own country, South Africa, how embarrassing. He could not get his own funding from the country that he actually developed the soap from, which he could be able to make money from there. And they didn't even believe in that particular concept. So it just shows you the distance, the gap between the know-how, the technology, and the access, and how you're supposed to actually spread it out. And so therefore, there's still a lot to be done in terms of how we engage and how we put those two things together. And I think that's where the problem is. The second problem that we have, my dear sister Linda, is that even when capital is available, unfortunately, on the African continent, contextually, and this is me now being the technical guy, the economist. So the technical aspect and the data shows us that we have not done very well in terms of new business doing successfully well. So every business, even in South Africa, let me tell you, the most industrialized country on the African continent, 1 out of 2 businesses that actually get funding and capital fails in the first 3 years. Why? Because they obviously don't have the expertise, and maybe sometimes there might be some technical defaults, and sometimes they run to get a Land Rover rather than making sure that everybody gets actually the work that needs to be done. So we still have a long way to go before we become our own Silicon Valley. And I don't know why we don't have a Silicon Valley here. I think Kenya is a very good example where we should be heading to. We should have an actual headquarters of our own Silicon Valley in Kenya. Why not Accra? Why not Accra? Why not Ghana? Why not have our own Silicon Valley? Johannesburg, it's too much there. And by the way, I will talk about Ningla, but there's many Totis there. So maybe we must find somewhere where we can actually be ourselves as young people, where we can actually expand and show what we are actually capable of doing. But the funds are there. The problem is that our governments don't believe in us as young people. They don't. The minute you say to them, I don't have experience, that is the biggest no-no. But by the way, let me just remind you, Google, the biggest global search engine in the world, they don't use CVs anymore and qualifications as a criteria for you to work for them. Google says, if you have the talent, if you can convince me over this platform, if you can show me now that you've got things that you can do, that you can data capitalize, that you can actually do things that are far much more advanced, things that are exciting for me, I'm prepared to listen to you. I don't care whether you are an engineer or you've got a chemicals engineering degree in philosophy or whatever the case may be, but I'm interested in you as the person, the individual. What can you do? What can you create? And I'll invest in that as opposed to your... And I'm not saying education is not important. I'm saying knowledge is far more important than education, because that's where the world is going. So our education system, which was for South Africans, is the Dutch system, where we all had to do moeder, father, and we had to learn about mathematics, arithmetic. If those things don't work anymore in the world, they don't work. The world has moved so far. So we're in trouble. We're in trouble if we don't move in time. Yeah. All right, sorry. I'll cut there. I'll cut there. Yeah.
I wanted to bring Julieta in because what you're saying is very important, again, going back to the conversation of education and how we educate for the future. But you have a very interesting take on capital and how we can actually access capital, Julieta. So what do you have to share in terms of that regard? Kyle is saying that the money is there, but, there are problems accessing it.
I think that as Africans, the first thing, when we look at this term capital, I think we also have to look at the history of capital in a capitalist world, because right now, where we're at in 2020, capitalism is the dominant form of ecosystems as far as humanity is concerned. We might have societies like Russia or China that come in under what is called communism, but as far as their economic principles are concerned, we are really all globally participating in a capitalist world. Now, in that sense, as far as Africans are concerned, we are at the bottom of the tier of access to capital. That is the structure in which we fit into global capitalism. And it is like that because we in global capitalism have the role of providing raw materials that cheap. That is where we fit in. So in that equation, it is very hard for you to begin to access capital and to distribute it where it needs to go, because already the system which is governing the flow of capital is not looking to fund you, is not looking to invest in you. And with all due respect to foreign investment and its intentions and foreign aid and these kind of things, track record has shown that the real issues concerning Africa and the real opportunities for Africa to develop and grow when capital is given to Africa tend to go unfunded. And it is some of the examples that Clive has been giving, whereby if you find entrepreneurs in Africa who are funded, they don't have the experience to go through this capital and to use it in a way that will get them to the next step. And for me, I saw this clearly in my time in Australia. While I was at the university for 4 years, there was this place. It was funded by the university. It was an accelerator program. For the 3 years while I was there, I did not know what those doors were for. But one time, out of curiosity, I entered that space. And when I entered that space, I found that the university each year used to fund 10 different people, 10 different teams of university students who had business ideas. And to be honest, it didn't matter what the ideas were. If you made it to the top 10, you were given $10,000 US to invest in this business idea. Not only were you given $10,000 US, you were also given mentorship. You were given challenges. You were fostered, you were guided, you were equipped structurally such that if that idea has a chance, then it is within the structure of the accelerator program to see that that idea becomes a startup. And after startup phase, there was another program at the university that used to support startups into sustainable businesses. These are the kind of structures that we have not yet consolidated and developed in Africa. Right from the point of how do we organize the capital and ensure that capital can go to the right people in Africa. And when it gets to those people are not just left of, yeah, good idea, here's the money. They have the support, they have the mentorship to actually turn these ideas into something. The other thing that I would say about capital and business and therefore development and transformation in our economies as Africans is there was a successful businessman, young man in Dubai. It was one of his cousins. There's a show
Julieta,
yes, please.
Sorry, I'll just interject. We have about 8 minutes, so I want to wrap this.
Okay, so I'll just finish this point up. Yeah. One of the things this man said is that if your business is going to be successful, it has to be able to meet a need in the society. And I think this is the other area where we're struggling in Africa. What are our needs and who is the market if you have a business idea that's catering to the need? And when you have the market in terms of numbers, what is the amount of money that they have that's disposable to them to spend on this product that you're going to design for them, or on this business which is supposed to cater to them? These are some of the questions that we need to fill in, because we know that like for instance in Uganda, 80% population that's youth, over 40% of that population unemployed, right? So even when I have a business that is meeting a need, these people are not in the position financially to be able to support my business, even though my business is catering to their needs. And so some of these problems, when it comes to funding them, the capital is not just into the business side of things. It is into building all these different points of our cycle of poverty. Because if we attack our cycle of poverty from one point, all the other points are bleeding in terms of value.
Okay.
So I think that we are at a very challenging time in terms of strategy, and we can only go through the conversations to come up with what is going to work best. But these are some of the things that come into consideration in the discussion as we discuss these issues.
Okay, fine, fair enough. So Tembi, where are we at, in terms of the way forward? How do we move forward, together as a group? What does your department, as the Aido Youth Director, have for the people of Africa going forward?
Thank you, Linda. I think the first thing we also need to look at is youth representation in places of strategic enforcement, so that we can ensure that young people are represented, whereas young people are the majority in the entire world. But most of leadership in every country has a lot of older people. So already it does not cater to the larger citizens of the world. So we need young people in strategic opportunities, in strategic places, so that they'll be able to not only assist the elderly. I think generally the elder people should be advisors to most young people, because the ideas that I speak about are not only inventions, but there are ideas when it comes to a board of directors, because we come with innovative ways to solve problems, innovative ways to solve current problems, which we, the youth, are at the forefront of. So I think that is one of the things that Aido is really championing. It's got a lot of young people in strategic positions to ensure change, to ensure skills development as well, which I think we have not spoken about that, but it is a very important and crucial point. But I think also due to time, we will not dwell on that, but skills development is also very important to equip young people to not just be employers, but to not just be employees, but to be employers. Just like we've seen young people of Aido being employers, being in strategic position. We need young people leading.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point, because with its young population, if you look across in terms of the leadership, it's not representative of the young people. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end, but I want us to end on a note of optimism. So I'm going to give you, each one of you, about 90 seconds to just give us a positive message that the young people who are actually following and listening to this can take away with them. So let's start with you, Clive. A bit of hope, a bit of optimism as we move on.
Amanda Imbogoto, wonderful ladies, thank you very much for the opportunity. Listen, the only way we're going to get this right is that the African Union has to be on board. So what we have now is the African Youth Chamber, which is supposed to be facilitating all these particular programs that we are doing currently on this particular platform. So the partnership is very, very important, particularly if you're going to go into the rural areas where you involve the kings and chiefs and the honorary persons that we have. We are privileged to be having on this platform. That's the first point. The second point is money does not have to leave Africa. We have a lot of assets already. We are generating 70% of the world's minerals. 70%. I'm not joking. Go calculate. Have a look. I'm an economist. I promise you, you can listen to me. So we are already producing enough to make sure that we are a competitive partner in the rest of the world. And so we are being controlled because obviously we have a dollar-denominated environment that controls how those assets come out. Coffee, rice, cashew nuts, cocoa. If I go to hard solid ones, I go to platinum, I go to gold, I go to silver. These things come from this particular country. So if you use that as an adjective to make sure that you move that to the rest of the world, that will put us in a different perspective altogether. And that is the reason why the world wants to invest in Africa, because they know where these things are coming from. The only continent in the world that can produce renewable energy, and you heard it yesterday, is this continent. That is why we can produce energy everywhere, and we can actually be the supplier for the rest of the world. My goodness me, young people, do you understand what that means? That means you can generate power for the rest of the flipping world. So we are at a pivotal point We are the periphery. We are the ones that can actually change these things going forward. And I urge you, young people, young ladies, I urge you to please take the step to make those things. Our governments are a bit slow. We're not going to do it with them. So we need activists like you, Julieta. We're like you, Tabby. We need you. We need Linda. We need you guys. Are needing to. You need it right now to be scholars so that we can talk to our leaders, particularly in the cultural sense, so that we can move forward. Africa is ready. Africa can move forward. Africa is where it's happening. And I believe that this continent is going to lead the next fourth industrial revolution because we are the only ones that can move us into that contribution more than anyone else in the world.
Thank you very much, Clive. Julieta, over to you. Your 90 seconds of optimism.
Yes, 90 seconds of optimism for me is this. Activism is good, but I think where Africa is concerned, we need to look at the groundwork. And for me, what is especially giving me hope is the groundwork that is going to change Africa has begun. These conferences that Aido in partnership with ACCS has held, for me, is an example of so many different efforts that are currently ongoing to begin groundwork efforts. And the people who are gathering in these spaces are focused. Their mindset is sure. Their mindset is set on what Africa needs to be. And I think that we are in that, the fact that we are in that space of energy says a lot about what is to come for Africa. And I think we really are beginning to change direction of our ship and take charge of the dynamics on ground. And even in our relations in the global scene, we might not be there. Our governments especially might not have yet caught up, but we are beginning to move and make the things that need to happen possible and impactful. And I think that's very, for me, positive and encouraging, and the reason why I keep pushing.
All right. Thank you very much. Tembi, 90 seconds of optimism.
Thank you very much, Linda. I think for me, I'd like to encourage young people to start acting. I think we've spoken we've spoken. It's enough. We know what we want to do. Let's start putting action to these words. We are Aidoers. Please come and join us. Please go to www.aidonetwork.org and learn more about us, but contact us so that we may be able to implement all of these great ideas that we have. We know you have ideas. We know they are great. Please let's come together and ensure the success of Africa through us as the young people. The wealth, the development and the upliftment of Africa is through us, and we need to take up this baton from the elder generation, but also look up to them and learn from their mistakes. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you in Aido joining us. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Julieta. Thank you so much, Clive. Thank you so much, Tembi. Unfortunately, Lona had sound issues. She had audio issues. We couldn't have her, but I'm sure we will next time. She says she'll be with us again next time, and in even a stronger capacity. Thank you very much, everybody.
Linda, just one point from me. One point. Without his excellency and his honorable one, without these kingships, because our ancestors are very much involved, we need leadership like them, and I appreciate this platform because he's made it possible. Let us thank him for making this possible. I think if we are going to move forward as a continent, we need our ancestors, we need our honorables, we need our chiefs, our kings to be leading up, and I thank him for making this particular platform possible. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, fine. So I think in terms of my parting words, I want to echo what Melida from SCCS said yesterday. She said the need to connect not with fellow Africans across the continent, but also African diaspora and people of African descent who have never connected with Africa. Africa will never truly see developments or the vision that it has for itself unless we connect with one another. Thank you very much for participating. Let's keep the connection going, and I hand over to Princess Seppi. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Wow. Can I hear wows in the platform, in the chat room, to say what a wonderful, robust conversation. This was robust, this was eye-opening, this was this is where we say this is where our pride is. We are so proud of the youth. We are so grateful of you guys. We know that the future of Africa, the future of the whole earth is in the good hands. Thank you very much that we keep on learning from you. I heard that Linda says unity, it is what is going to bring us to be integrated and to progress forward. I heard Tembi says our wealth and our development is actually in the hands of the youth, or investing in the youth. I also heard Clark saying he appreciates Aido Network so much and its leadership, particularly the visionary himself, our president, His Excellency, Mr. Iganda. And I also heard Achieng saying we should join her in pushing forward, making sure that we keep on pushing, because this is what she appreciates, that she has seen that the space is really now gearing up to conversations such as this that Aido has afforded. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Right now, without further ado, we are going to listen to a talk by our very own Dr. Marco Montefaldo. Sir, please take the stage. Thank you.
Good evening, good morning, and wherever you are. Your Highnesses, Your Highness, President and Viceroy Paul Iganda, Your Highnesses, King and Queens, Your Excellencies, Honorables, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege and honor just to be with you. Looking and watching this conversation, these sessions, I should say, it's wonderful to see you, wonderful to know what is going on in your country. I am here today because of the invitation of His Excellency President and Viceroy Paul Iganda to come and just to speak with you. Aido created this virtual forum with one strong message. He says, Africa is ready to partner for business and prosperity. I have a question with that. Why you are only ready now? Why you are not ready yesterday, last month, last week, few years ago? But nevertheless, you bring this wonderful challenge to each and everyone, either in the side of the investors or the people in Africa as a whole. Are you really ready to partner for business and prosperity? I believe so. Listening on all the word that you are talking in this forum, I was so amazed. And I thank you very much. I begin with welcoming each and every one of you in this forum. Karibuni. It's Karibuni. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Akwaba, my brothers in Ghana. Our brothers in Cojiva, bienvenue. And to all our brothers and sisters and idlers, I thank you for participating. I have a speech that is prepared, but watching and listening with this forum in the past 2 days has widened my knowledge and given me clear understanding about Africa. There is so I changed my speech. I believe you participated because you are looking for something that you don't have, something that you want for your business, something that you could can make you more influential Most importantly, something that can make you more wealthier than you are now. Or you are here simply because you want to connect with different people. Or perhaps you are here because you are looking for fresh ideas on how you can help and improve your business and the lives of your community. Well, who will you be after this forum? With all the expertise and wisdom of all the intelligence speakers in the past 2 days in this forum, ladies and gentlemen, if you are really careful in listening with all the language they have said, it is amazing that Africa is so powerful. You can see me. I am an Asian. I am Dr. Marco Montevalde. I am an Asian in color, but I have a heart of African. I may not love Africa, but believe you me, I love Africans. I've been dealing with African people in a daily basis for over 40 years. That's why I eat banku, I eat fufu, I eat kenke, and I even eat kuntumble in Ghana. And to say the least, my brother-in-law is a black man. He's an African. And I'm very proud of that. He is from Cote d'Ivoire. Is the husband of my sister. See, I have a connection with you. That's why I am so glad to be with you today. I hope Aido and this forum has given you the opportunity that you have been looking for. In business, it is important that you know who you truly are. May you allow me to ask this question? Do you really know your actuality? Do you live in your reality? If you want your business to grow stronger, you have to see to it that you have a solid foundation. Success and stability of any business is dictated and controlled by its owner themselves. If problem arise and the owner begin to blame people around them, the economy, politicians, or their workers, these are the signs that the business is failing. If you start to blame one or other people of what is going on in your business, you are losing your motivation. Why? Because you are looking for an excuse to cover up your failure. My advice to you, ladies and gentlemen, is to magnify your failure. Don't be afraid with your failure. You magnify your failure so that you can see it clearly and don't ignore or cover up your failure. Confront your failure to succeed. Failure is the #1 recipe of success. I repeat, failure is the #1 recipe of success, ladies and gentlemen. At this hour, ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. This coming few minutes, maybe one day, you may need it. In every business, there is two sides. I called it the failure and success. Failure on the left because it is weaker. Success on the right because it is stronger. Well, there is another two corners of the equation. That is the past, and the future. With these four corners of life, there is one thing that you will leave behind: the past. I have heard about the story about the past, talking about slavery, those colonialism and mentality. I heard about all these things in these past 2 days. But moving to the future, you need to carry your both sides. Your failure, business owner, you have to accept and confront your failure from the very beginning so that it won't destroy your vision. In business, timing is crucial to succeed. How is your management skill? I believe if you have business, you have a strategy. So I believe that you have management skill somehow. But let me ask you this very delicate and very insulting question, especially in the African community. It's not only a problem of Africa, but almost all over the world. But particularly, I speak particularly to Africans because I you today. How is your time management? See, time management is crucial in every success in life because time will not wait for you. Before I will go, move on. Ladies and gentlemen, in the stock market, time and timing is everything. There are two platforms that you have to choose if you are involved in the stock market. Listen, spending your time or investing your time. If you are a businessman, you listen carefully with this. Spending your time or investing your time. If you want to succeed, you choose. Spending your time, meaning to say you are wasting your time in thinking so many things that is not relevant in your business. Investing your time is you are concentrating to improve on and reinforce your business strategy. In business, ladies and gentlemen, time is gold. My time is very limited, but I'll give you one example how Africans waste their time. In the UK, they invited me to officiate a wedding. In the wedding, in the invitation, it says the wedding will start, the ceremony will start at 1 o'clock. And then my officiating time is 1:30 in the afternoon. So I respect time. I arrive in the venue at exactly 12:30. When I arrived, no one there, only me and my driver. So I said to the security guard, there should be a wedding that is going on here. And then the security guard said, yes, I know, but they are not yet here. That is 12:30. I waited. I stand there, 1:15. Two people arrived with their costumes like a queen. So I asked them, are you part of this wedding ceremony? They said, yes. Oh, I've been here waiting. The program is 1 o'clock. And then they said, oh, doctor, it's African time. And they smiled. So I said, okay, African time. I'm in the UK. Africa they are late for 1 hour. So that's fine for me. I can wait for that. I stand there and waiting and waiting. It comes to 3:15. I'm still standing there waiting for the bride and groom and for the bishop who invited me. 3:15, I said to my driver, I said, if they will not arrive in 3:30, we must leave. 3:30, exact, like, fair enough, 3:30 arrived. They didn't arrive, the groom. The bride and groom are not there to be seen. So I said to my driver, let's go. We left at exactly 4:15. My phone rang. It said, oh, doctor, we are waiting for you. We are already all here. The groom called me. And I asked him, really? You are an idiot. I said, sorry for my language. But I said, I have been there since 12:30. I waited until 3:30. And your appointment with me is 1:30. I have left the venue because the allocated time is finished. See, the bishop who invited me called me, oh, doctor, we are already here. We are just waiting for you to start the ceremony. I said, Bishop, you don't know what are you talking about. I have been there. See, the time is finished. Please officiate your wedding. My time is gone. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is a simple illustration how valuable time is wasted because most of the African people, most especially those big ones, those rich ones, those in the position, you arrive in your own time, late. All the good things that you're supposed to be here has passed. It's finished. You arrive dressed like a king, walk like a queen, but you waste a lot of your time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I have said, in business, time is very important. I pray and I encourage you to use your watch. Many of you, you are using expensive watches. Oh, they are very expensive. But I can't understand why you can't read the time and arrive at your appointed time. Well, one thing, ladies and gentlemen, is we have to be aware with all our actions, because in business, the number one thing that you have to guard is your efficiency. You have to be efficient, accurate in business. Time is gold, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the most popular words in our current time, used by many politicians, businessmen, business communities, social media, is the word change. For all these years, countless of people have crossed my ways. And there is one common question they asked. How can I change myself? Well, my answer always is the same. Don't change yourself, because you cannot change who you are. If you do, and you will change yourself, you will be more confused, and you will end up to be a pretending person, because you are living in a person that you should not be. My advice to you is not to change, ladies and gentlemen, but to improve what you have and who you are. You have to improve yourself. You have to improve what you have. You can change. There are only some parts of your life, your habits, your practices. You can change those. Change means like if you go to your email and there is a password, you remove the password and you change to a new one, and you will not use or forget. You have to forget the old one because you have changed to a new one. Can you change yourself? No, ladies and gentlemen. You can only improve yourself. See, many people talk easily about change. It's time to change. Let us change. What are you changing? See, what are you changing? You want to be a white, or you want to be, if you are British, okay, if you are an African, then you become a British. You become a British, but you are still African. You are still African. See, you cannot change. The only thing you can do, ladies and gentlemen, the mindset is to change. Change. What change you are looking for? No. Don't change. I encourage you, don't change. What you will do is to improve who you are and what you have to be a better man. See? But you have to understand that to adopt change that you want, there are so many things to do. You think to change is easy? To change your habit is easy? To change your job is easy? No. To change something in your life, it needs a lot of sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen. What you need is not to change. Not to change. See, remember, adaptation of change in any part of your life is very stressful. It's very, very, very stressful. And you need a lot of compromise. You don't need to change, I told you. You need to reinforce. You need reinforcement. If you are looking for something to improve in your business, in your community, you need reinforcement. That is why we are here for you. Aido is here for you. His Excellency Viceroy Iganda is brave enough to create Aido and form Aido and bring Aido to you to have a platform. Aido is your reinforcement, ladies and gentlemen. See, you need reinforcement. Aido is one of them. Aido is your platform. Reinforcement, I called it investors. See, in your country, do you want some from foreign countries will come to you and change your community? Do you want that? I hope you don't, because it doesn't work that way. See, you are letting the investors or the reinforcement to come. You allow them to come. Do you know that the most destructive force of the word change is greediness and pride? If you are not careful about the changes that you want in your business and in your life, you will be, failure is imminent, ladies and gentlemen. See, reinforcement is very important to allow investors to come into your country, ladies and gentlemen. While listening to all the speakers yesterday, one thing I take notes. Almost all the things that you have said is one book. This notebook is full of my notes because of the language you have used. But I will go in one particular man. It's Mr. Rowland. I like the way he talked about you, about Africa. He said, sorry, Mr. Rowland, if you are listening, I will use your language at this current time. You said Africa needs electricity, especially in the village. And he said, I don't care what the electricity coming from. Solar energy or a dam or generator or what have you. He said, I don't care. He said, what I care is to give power to the village. My vision is to power up Africa, he says. Mr. Rowland, I salute you, sir. I hear you. I am with you. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, your highnesses, king and queens, politicians, this is the kind of man you need. This is the kind of investor you need. And one of the greatest words he said that I cling on and hold on tightly is he said, I want whatever money that will generate the business that I'm bringing in Africa, I don't want to bring that money out. I want to reinvest in Africa for the people to benefit. See, if you are listening to me right now, my dear politicians or lawmakers, these are the investors. This is a heart this is a heart that you need. This is the investors that you need. Aido bring you these people. Don't lose this chance, because it is time for you to open up and use Aido platform to bring you this type of people to improve and somehow elevate the life of the people in your country. See, I watched and listened to all the speakers and moderators. I was so amazed how big is their idea, how solid is their structures, ladies and gentlemen. To improve and elevate the life of your people is not an easy task. The possibility lies in your hand, especially the politicians and the lawmakers and the king and leaders in the community. Sir, your highnesses, if you are listening, please communicate with Aido, and we can bring you more people who have a heart to truly understand the need of your people. See, many people say investment. I like the panelists from Ghana yesterday. Sir, you said that we are only looking for investors in a foreign country. Why don't we look at ourselves? Why don't we look at the African community as an investor? Well, let me tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen. I salute you, sir, with that courage. Indeed, if you will unite, your country, your continent is powerful enough to conquer the world. African continent, ladies and gentlemen, is harboring the biggest wealth of the world. See, you are the ball of wealth of the whole world. See this? Your diamonds. See this? Your blue sapphires, your precious stones, your oil, all your natural resources. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't understand why Africa is behind the success of the West. But let me remind you that all the success of the West start in your continent. The diamond that is sold in the stock market at this very hour, most of them is from Africa. The gold, the precious metals that are they are using to make this cell phone, your gadgets. Most of these precious metals come from Africa. Who is benefiting them? Your natural resources, ladies and gentlemen, is vast. I like the word of the doctor a while ago. He said, if only African community can recognize how powerful it is, these plants that he is using to cure illnesses. But Dr. Patrick says, if you only recognize, if there is only a platform to recognize these natural medicines, you should not buy medicine outside. And believe you me, most of the medicine that you are buying outside, ladies and gentlemen, the raw materials is from your fertile land. Why? You said, many speakers said, it's about time for us to unite as Africa. Yesterday, when I'm listening, our brother panelist in Ghana, he said, if I want to go to Uganda, I have to go to the United Kingdom to go to Uganda. Why? Why? I am just asking, ladies and gentlemen. See, I encourage you not to give up with your natural resources. Don't allow your natural resources to be taken away from you, because that is your natural resources is the one is the thing that precious things is supplying the wealth of the West. Why can't you? Why? Is it not about time, ladies and gentlemen, to wake up? As I have said a while ago, what is your actuality? And what are you living in your reality? If you want reality, ladies and gentlemen, don't look far away. You look on what you have. Your land is very fertile. I encourage you not to give up your own people, as I've said. As I always say, ladies and gentlemen, it's not what you do, but it's how you do. It is not what you say, but how you say matters. At this moment in time, Aido has given you a platform. Don't waste this opportunity, because it's about time for you to open up as Africa. It's not a divided Africa, but as a united Africa. You must have passion for your country. You must have passion to help your country. There is a saying in Africa, don't look or don't see what your country can give you, but you look and see what can you do for your country. Dearly beloved, ladies and gentlemen, your excellencies, it is about time for you to look at yourself One speaker yesterday, he said, look at yourself in the mirror and see how valuable you are. Don't look yourself down. Don't say, I am African, I cannot speak, I am always behind. Well, it's about time for you to say, all your wealth is come from us. It's about time for us to manage our own wealth. Will you? See, the problem in Africa is this one. Most of the system that runs in the African continent varies from different colonial era. It varies from different colonial era, except Ethiopia and Liberia. Ethiopia and Liberia is the only country that was not colonized, ladies and gentlemen, called African continent. But every country, region, and tribes are using different systems. Even in your own village, you go to the other village, they have different language, different way of doing things. See, I like that. Why? Because if you will combine together these forces that you have, you are the most powerful continent in the universe. One thing I can't understand sometimes is, most especially if there are newly elected government that comes to power, what they do is they will change their current constitution. Start all over again. They will ignore the old system and create a new constitution to start all over again. I can't understand that colonial mentality that you always want a new one when there is something new in power. Why? Why you are ignoring your own system? Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a united and powerful Africa, don't ignore your own system. You are blaming your government. They are not doing this and they are not doing that. No, don't have that blaming mentality system. I encourage you to see what you can do as an individual to improve the lives of the people in your own community, ladies and gentlemen. See, don't focus on the problem and don't ignore and abuse your old system, but improve your system. Why you have to change your system? That's the way you live. That's the way of life you have. What I encourage you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to improve what you have. With this reinforcement from Aido that is coming your way, why not take this opportunity? His Excellency Viceroy Iganda has a complete package, are complete and fully equipped, ready at any given time to come into your country as a reinforcer. If you are in a battle, you don't need to withdraw from the battle. It is better for you to call up a reinforcement for you to win the battle. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for you to win the battle. It is time for you to win the battle. Reinforcement is coming. Aido is just one vessel for you to use. But allow Aido, ladies and gentlemen, those people that are sitting in the government, I encourage you to communicate with Aido, Network International. Speak with the president himself. He is ready. As our speaker from the Scandinavian country Chamber of Commerce yesterday, she said, we are ready to welcome any bankable project proposal or business proposal. We are here. We have funding. We have available funding. If funding is your problem, Now it's not a problem, ladies and gentlemen. I can guarantee you. Through Aido, you have the funding. And for those investors that are listening at this very moment in time, whatever your worries in putting business in Africa, I will give you my guarantee, myself, and the management of Aido, that we will do all our means for you to have a successful business in Africa. See, many of you discuss also about corruption. Many politicians around the world came to me and asked me about my opinion about this problem. You know, corruption is a pandemic worse than COVID-19. It was embedded in every person's lives around the world, not only in Africa, ladies and gentlemen. But do you know that we can fight corruption? Do you know that why corruption is existing and can easily be like practice in every corner of your community? I'll give you one of the reasons why. Because of you. You want convenient. You want convenient. You want to rush. You are always, you wanted to do things fast. So you go to your friend that is working in the government and say, oh, I have something, I have some problem. Instead for you to going into the right channel, you call your friend inside and let them do things for you. Or you will give something for the people that are working in the government. Oh, this is, take this, do first mine. See, corruption starts from you. Look at yourself in the mirror before you talk about corruption, ladies and gentlemen. Corruption is a problematic issue, but there is a way out. If you want to know, if you are sitting in the government, in your businesses, if you want to know more about the details of this to combat, to truly eliminate maybe 90% of corruption in your country, you talk to Aido management. And if your approach is right, maybe His Highness Viceroy Iganda will bring me to you. That somehow we can present to you a platform how to conquer and combat this pandemic, this corruption pandemic in your community. I know many individuals who wanted to help your continent. The diaspora are there, always doing all their best to help their people. But now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a platform that is willing to come along with you. This Aido has given you this perfect platform. I like the speaker yesterday from Panama. She said, we are ready. We are willing to come to you as we welcome you to come to us. Aido, bring you these people. What will you do with them? That's why I said a while ago, who will you be after this forum, ladies and gentlemen? We are living in a world of possibilities. We are not living in the world of impossibility. You can achieve many things if you will adapt and practice one thing: improvement system mentality. I heard many times about the word mentality in this forum. The mentality of Africa are so solid. They don't even realize that it's already bad for the community. But because it's the mentality in general. So they do it. So it become the problem, it become a reality. See? But if you will adapt, ladies and gentlemen, to improve what you have, change. Don't change your way of life, but I want you to improve. Don't change what you have, but I want you to improve what you have. Is it possible? I hope so. Do you want to be an extraordinary person after this forum? If your answer is yes, then we are walking in the same path. Aido is here for you, ladies and gentlemen. I embrace Aido because I believe with their belief. Because Viceroy, His Excellency, His Majesty Viceroy Iganda said to me when he came in my home, he said, I came to you because I asked him, give me one reason why I have to come along and help you. He said, because I want to elevate somehow the life of some people in my country. What a wonderful word, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you can decide today, what do you want to do? What will you going to do in this situation that you have? Your thought and feeling is will determine with your action if you wanted to justify yourself after this forum. Negative thinker can only see the challenges and difficulties in every opportunity they have. A positive thinker can always see opportunity in crisis or in difficulties. I have learned that crisis bring opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. This COVID pandemic that we are facing right now, it is a problem to many. But it is also an opportunity for so many people, entrepreneurs, and those wise people who wanted to capitalize in this crisis. For those of you who are Christians, like I said before in Germany, listen carefully with these things. If you are a Christian, listen. Because I have no crisis in my life. I have no crisis because I have Christ. See? I have no crisis because I have Christ, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are not Christian, he said, listen, I have no crisis because in every crisis I see opportunities. I have no crisis because in every crisis there is an opportunity. I hope you have a chance to understand your power as Africa. I want to talk to you more, but my time is very limited. They are already giving me time to stop, ladies and gentlemen. Well, they called me philanthropist because I support many children in different parts of the world, and I want to come to you. I believe Mr. Iganda is planning to come to any country in Africa. Invite Aido in your country. I will come. I will come, ladies and gentlemen. Your Highnesses, give me more time, please. As I have said, you cannot change your life. Business, if you want more knowledge about business, there are so many speakers who speak about business. But if you want if you want to have a better way of understanding what you can do for Africa, Aido has the answer for you. I will be there to meet you. It's hard to book, but talk to Mr. Iganda himself, His Highness. Maybe he will give you a chance to see me in person. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have said, don't change. Improve what you have. As I have said a while ago, take courage and know who you are and how valuable Africa in the whole world. You are supplying the wealth of the whole world. Why you feel that you are left behind? Don't. It's time for you to stand up and say, we will manage our own wealth for the world to come to us. That is the power of Africa that I am looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Your natural resources is immense and vast. Is immense and vast, ladies and gentlemen. But as I have said, who will you be after this forum? Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, I hope we can see each other again. But if we will not be able to see each other again, I believe, because it is my faith, that I will see you in heaven one day. Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, may you please allow me to ask this question once more. Who are you today? Who will you be tomorrow? And who will you be when your days are gone? How will the people and your loved ones that you come, or the people that you come along with, how will your people remember you? Will you leave a legacy that your family, your loved ones, your constituents will be proud and say, I enjoyed the legacy of this person? Will you leave that legacy for them to enjoy? Or you will leave a legacy for them to be shamed and for them to endure for the rest of their lives? It is up to you. The answer of that question, ladies and gentlemen, is in you. What will you do today? I reiterate, you are always saying that we are preparing for our next generation. Politicians, leaders, kings, listen carefully. Because you cannot prepare anything, any good thing for your next generation if you cannot provide and give the need of your current generation. That is how to prepare, ladies and gentlemen. Give the need of your current generation for you to have a better generations to come. With that, I thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry if I hurt you, but I believe I give you my heart as an investor, as a friend that are willing to come and walk with you to have a better Africa. Thank you, and may God bless you all. I'll pass to Mr. Iganda, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Marco. You are indeed blessed, and we are inspired. We are very proud of you. You have left us with a very strong message, and we look forward to grow with you, to seek your guidance. Yes, Africa is our home. Africa is our destiny. We cannot change, but we want to improve. Thank you so much. God bless you. Princess?
Thank you very much to our president, and a huge thank you to Dr. Marco once more giving us the nuggets to take another 12 months. Last year, indeed, we were also shaped and changed, panel beated, and we were brought back into inspiration, as our president have already said. We thank you so much, Dr. Mako. Indeed, we need to look back within and say, let the change begin with us for our Africa to change. We should refuse to take the baggage of the past, where we allowed visitors and the visitors took away so much and they even overstayed. Indeed, we are now awakened. Aido is here. Aido is our vehicle. With Aido, we say, let us unite into the new dawn of Africa, the integration of Africa, the development and progress thereof. What good is it going to be if we are here and the next decade or the next generation does not see our footprint? I say that will never be on us. But good shall it be that we have toiled and worked, and yet we left nothing for our next generation. I said that shall never be us. I do us, we have work to do. I do us, we have been invited through our president that Dr. Mako's doors are open. I'm not sure if we can really put forward or work on that invitation, but our president will let us know. Thank you very much. We carry on with our program, ladies and gentlemen. We are now going to be going through to Janice, Global Africa. With them, I'm going to be introducing Paula Pritchard, who is in the US. I'll be introducing Jared Trades. I'll be introducing Lady Mpondindi, whom we know very much. I'll be introducing our Dr. Sizwe Makoba. May I see the Janice team, please, to join? I will be helping them so that I make sure that they keep time. I'm kidding. I'm just going to be moderating them. Thank you. Janice team, may we please take the stage?
Yes, we are here. Thank you so much. I'm with Dr. Makoba.
Dr. Makoba is like a mushroom. How do you just appear there now? Okay, greetings to you. May we see Paula? Is Paula able to connect to us?
Yes, they are both in.
Jared, greetings to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paula. Yes, thank you very much. We are greeting you from the brightest city, Johannesburg, here in Africa, here in South Africa. It is indeed a pleasure for you to also be with us this evening. Thank you. Jared, we would like to say hello to you. Jared. All right. While Jared is coming in, can we please, from the technical team, can we please have video A? Our first video.
Look around, wherever you go, wherever you look. Either. Every second of every day, people are accessing text messages, videos, pictures, social media updates, and new powerful software that all have one thing in common: social connection. This is the world we live in today, the world of instant comprehensive communication. It has revolutionized the way we form relationships, the way we come together, and the way we communicate. Did you know that more progress with technology has been made in the last 10 years than in the past 1,000? We now hold that technology in the palm of our hands. Now imagine using this mobile technology to grow a global business infrastructure to help people all. The smartphone. It is without a doubt the most powerful tool for social interaction ever created. Take a look around. Wherever you go, wherever you look, you will see the smartphone. People aren't just making calls anymore either. Every second of every day, people are accessing text messages, videos, pictures, social media updates, and new powerful software that all have one thing in common: social connection. This is the world we live in today, the world of instant comprehensive communication. It has revolutionized the the way we form relationships, the way we come together, and the way we communicate. Did you know that more progress with technology has been made in the last 10 years than in the past 1,000? We now hold that technology in the palm of our hands. Now imagine using this mobile technology to grow a global business infrastructure, to help people all around the world, and to change your own life. Introducing J-Mobile. J-Mobile is a powerful app that gives you unlimited access to custom text, teasers, and cinema-quality digital marketing videos that all link back to your store. J-Mobile was created to help you leverage mobile marketing to your advantage by sharing your story in a simple but elegant way. This powerful app allows you to build your business on the go. J-Mobile sends push notifications for almost everything you need to know, keeping you organized and up to date with your business. Link directly to your social media channels with one-touch sign-in and get real-time business updates to keep you on the right track to success. Growing your Jeunesse business and following up with prospects has never been easier with the tools and resources that are one touch away. We are Generation Young. We are Jeunesse.
Thank you. Thank you very much to our technical team. Thank you. Thank you, Paula. We would like to bring you in, Ms. Paula Pritchard. We believe we have heard so many testimonials about your work. We have heard about how you took this product or even the industry from 0 to 150 where it is, or to the highest level where it is. Please tell us more about Jeunesse, and please tell us more about the network marketing from your experience.
Thank you so much. I'm coming to you from Tampa, Florida, in the United States. And first of all, I want to thank the Aido Network for inviting me to speak. And I also want to pay my respects to Your Majesties, the royalty that has joined us today. And I'm just so impressed with all the good work that you are doing and I am so privileged to be able to speak to you today. My goal here is to just give an overview of Jeunesse. And first of all, before I start, let me share with you my background. My formal background is college teaching. I taught at a major university in the United States, and I was actually finishing my PhD. I was going to grad school, finishing my PhD, when I was introduced to a diversification or a vehicle for me to make some additional income. So what I'm really going to talk to you about in the next few minutes is more of a gift. I'm not here to actually sell any particular business or product, but I am here to introduce this gift of Jeunesse to people because it's been such a gift in my life. When I was teaching, I was single. I was not married. I wanted to build a house, and I couldn't afford to do that. And so, like many people out there, I had two choices in my life. The choice is I either need to condense or shrink my dreams and goals of the things that I want for myself and for my future family, or I have to find a way to expand my income so that I can encompass my goals and dreams. And so what I found, for most people out there who are looking for a way to get out of poverty or a way to change the future direction of their family, obviously, if you can change the financial status in your life, you can change everything, because you can change where you live, the schools you send your children to. You can change the charities that you want to support. the changes you want to make for your community and your country. If you can change that financial aspect, it gives people choices. And I find sometimes that when people like myself, when they're in a situation, whether it's poverty or they feel stuck in a job that they can't seem to advance or go higher or change their financial situation, we tend to lose hope. And I like what Dr. Marco said about change, and I like what you said about the Aido organization, about being a vehicle. And that's exactly what Jeunesse is. It's a vehicle. And so if people want to, for me, example, I wanted to add additional income to my life. And I thought if I could just own my own business. But in owning a business, it costs a lot of money to get started. So for most people, it's prohibitive. In other words, if I wanted to start a franchise, I had to come up with money. If I wanted to have a business, I needed to have premises. I needed to have a sign and employees. If I wanted to even start today an internet business, I've got to be able to afford to have someone create the website. I've got to be able to afford to get the transaction material machine to handle credit cards and to be able to have inventory in a warehouse. And all these things are prohibitive. But what I want to share with you is a business that is not prohibitive. In fact, a person like myself, when I started on a shoestring. A person can actually take charge of their own destiny for a mere $29. And actually, if they decided in the month of November, they could do it for $1. They could start their business and change their life. So, the vehicle that has made that possible for me is a vehicle called network marketing. And network marketing is a direct sales concept. And network marketing right now is a $200 billion industry. And more than 120 million people are changing their lives through this vehicle. But one of the most successful companies in that industry is a company called Jeunesse. And what I'd like to do for just a minute is just share with you a few pictures and give you the vision of what this company has been able to do and what it does do to help change people's lives. This happens to be a major event. Jeunesse has become so big that it is now in approximately 150 countries. They do 5 conventions or expos worldwide. This happens to be one of them. Their headquarters is located in Orlando, Florida, and the founders of the company are Randy Ray and Wendy Lewis. And I want to spend a minute talking about these two people because Randy grew up in poverty. And so he knows what it's like to not have enough food to eat. He knows what it's like to not have any new clothes, to only have one pair of shoes. He knows what it's like to live in that environment. And fortunately, he was able to get out of that. When he was old enough and he ran away from home, he was able to join the Army. And when they tested his IQ, he was brilliant. They put him in computer sciences. That was his vehicle. And he became an expert in computers and software. He created the software for the NASA launch program here in our country, our space program. He became a multi-millionaire, he and his wife. They've created computer companies. They've sold them for millions. They tried to retire multiple times, but they decided they really wanted a way to give back. So they created Jeunesse, and they created it for 2 main reasons. To help people like you and I, to help adults have a vehicle to help transport themselves out of their situation, to change their life, whether it's to get out of debt, whether it's to get out of a job they hate, whether it's to put their children through school, whether it is to finance their church or to change the world around them or community. And then the second goal was to help poor children, because Randy felt that no child asked to be born in poverty. And so their goal is to take the profits from Jeunesse and create schools, agricultural communities, freshwater wells, to change the lives of children. And so they have created these communities in Africa, India, China, and Ecuador. In fact, this past June, they were opening a school in Kenya, and it was an entrepreneur school for young adults to help them start to take charge of their own future. So we have all been blessed with this successful company to help support that. And many of us that are involved in Jeunesse give a great deal of money to this foundation to help the Jeunesse kids. This company, because I think it is blessed, has been very successful. It has shattered all records in the network marketing industry. They reached $1 billion in business, their 6th year in business. Just to give you an example, the fastest company to hit $1 billion in a year took 21 years. Jeunesse did it in 6, and 6 is like, it would be like Apple Computers or Amazon or eBay. I mean, that's how record-breaking this is. They've won numerous awards because of being the best place to work, the best marketing team in the country, the best female entrepreneur owner 3 years in a row, and they've been so successful. They were listed as number 13 in the world out of the top 100 direct sales companies, and they've done it, and they're only 11 years old, so they have set all kinds of records. It's been extremely impressive with what they've been able to accomplish. Like anything else, when you're a successful company, you have to have a product or a service. And the goal of Jeunesse was to have a product that was on the cutting edge, a product that was futuristic. And so they decided that they would specialize in products of the future, products that revolved around stem cell technology. For those of you that are not aware of stem cell technology, stem cells are what form the baby in the womb. Stem cells are what create the bones, the muscles, the organs. And as we grow into adults, we have stem cells within our body. And those are stem cells that help heal, that help constantly repair in our body. They repair things we don't even know we're having a problem with. But you know, what stem cells do is they also have a certain amount of chemicals that help our cells communicate with one another. You know, when you're a child and you break a bone or you cut yourself, you heal quickly, because you have an abundance of stem cell chemicals to help the cells communicate with one another in order to heal. As we become older, those chemicals are depleted. So we have the cells, we have the ability to heal ourselves, but unfortunately our cells can't talk to one another. So when you become elderly, and for example, you break a bone or you have a cut, in older people it takes forever to heal. Well, we have some of the most world-renowned doctors in stem cell technology, and they created products to help our cells communicate. This is the first product that they introduced, and I have to tell you, the formula is so futuristic that when you use this product for 30 to 90 days, the difference in your skin and in the healing, you know, the cells start to do what they did when you were a teenager. In fact, they created an entire line of this product. They did 30 million the first year, and they doubled every year since. And then they started adding some internal wellness products. And for example, one of the wellness products was created by a Nobel Prize nominated doctor, Dr. Giampapa. These products work with our body not as a supplementation, but they work more on a chemical level to help improve cellular function, help repair our DNA. And if you start to research more about Jeunesse, you'll find that the product line is so impressive that they have products that use stem cell to help grow hair back. So if people have thinning hair on their head, they have products that help us maintain our healthy weight. They have products that help improve our focus in our brain. And these products have been so revolutionary that they have been written up in major magazines and periodicals. They're on social media, and more people are using them, having amazing results, and they don't want to be without them. So, you know, what this company has created to help people start their own business with these groundbreaking products is they've created an opportunity for people like you and I who have no business experience to be able to start our own business for a very nominal fee. And we're able to build our business in 150 countries worldwide. And just to give you an example, I live in Tampa, Florida. I have a business that expands into 100 countries. I have not been to those 100 countries. I've had the privilege over the last 3 years to be in Africa, and I love Africa. And I have to tell you, I look at Africa as such a ground floor pioneering marketplace where it is just begging for people to take this opportunity and run with it and start to change their lives. We have offices all over the world that are fully staffed and help us run our businesses. And then we have an opportunity where if you understand a little bit of how this works, is our business is merely built out of word of mouth, where traditional business would have offices, employees, warehouses, shipping departments and all this, and maybe cost millions of dollars to create a product, millions in research, millions of dollars to advertise so that we know to go get it at our stores. Our business is merely word of mouth advertising. In other words, that millions is put aside to pay people like you and I for just telling other people about these great products. And by doing that, they tell other people who tell other people who tell other people, and the next thing you know, you have an amazing business, and the company is paying you commissions based on every single product that moves in all those markets. So for me, anytime a product moves anywhere in those 100 countries, the company sends me commissions. So I receive an income, here in Tampa for business that takes place in 100 other locations. What's so nice also about this company is they not only supply a source of income to help people change their lives, but they also contribute to lifestyle. In other words, they have incentive trips that all over the world so that people who might have never traveled or never had the opportunity to travel can actually earn and have these trips for free. In fact, in 2019, almost 20,000 people earned these trips. And Mpo, who you will hear speak, she earned the trip to Athens, Greece, which was the trip for Africa, India, and Australia. She earned that trip, and she took her mother. And this was so touching to me because her mother had never been out of Africa. She took her mother to Athens, Greece, and then she took her to the neighboring islands. And I mean, what a wonderful experience. This past year, we had almost 30,000 people earn these different trips. We have trips that go to Maui, Hawaii. We have trips every year that people can earn. This happens to be a trip that I was on into the Alps last year. They took us to, they bought out the Four Seasons in Bora Bora. They flew us to the Four Seasons there. This year, they had bought out the Four Seasons Hotel in the Serengeti. I was crushed because of this pandemic, not being able to go, but hopefully they have postponed that and we'll be able to go in the future. This is our foundation, which means so much to myself and to many of us that are involved with Jeunesse, because it gives us a real purpose, a real mission of we're building the business to change our own lives, and in the process, we're working hard to change the lives of others. And that is so rewarding, I can't even begin to describe it. But they have events to help train us all over the world. And let me just explain, as I bring this to a conclusion, that when someone decides they want to take this journey with us, they merely get registered with the company. And when they get registered, let me explain that they get so many things for that registration fee. If in November, it's a company special for $1, but for that $1, that means they get registered with the company, they get their own website. I can send people to my website. They can see the business, they can see videos on the business, they can look at the product, they can see videos on the product. If they decide to buy the product, I have my own e-commerce shopping cart that is included with my website. So they can buy the product, they have a transaction machine, they can put their credit card in, they can pay for it right there online. Then the product is shipped from the nearest warehouse right to their home. So follow me on this. I have a business here in Tampa, Florida. I run it out of an office in my home. I have no overhead. I have no employees. I have no warehouse. I have no transaction machine that I have to set up with my own bank. I have no shipping trucks. I have none of this. I run my business with none of those expenses right here from the comfort of my home. And because of the internet, the world is flat. So I can be talking and training people all over the world right here from my computer. You also get a back office, and in the back office, you can actually monitor the sales of your business. You can monitor people who've decided to join you in the business. You can monitor all transactions and income that comes into your wallet. It's unbelievable. And then we have trainings. We have webinar trainings. We have Facebook presence. We do major Facebook presentations. We have a YouTube channel called Longevity TV where we train people on all of one of our doctors. We have 8 different doctors, and this one happens to train on the products. His name's Dr. Amzalog. We have videos. We have over 100 different videos on different products, very professionally designed and created, that we've won all kinds of awards. And to top it off, we also can run our business from our telephone. In other words, we have a mobile application. So I don't need a computer. I can run everything from my phone. I can run my website, my back office. I can send people videos. I can run everything from my phone. So in essence, you could have a true online business, but it doesn't cost you what an online business would cost you to put together. This happens to just be a picture of some of my friends here in Africa and some of the fun that we've enjoyed. And I can't begin to tell you how much this company has changed my life and changed the lives of people that I've been involved with as well. So let me stop sharing this for a second and just say thank you for the opportunity of presenting Jeunesse. You know, I have a saying here that a journalist who was a celebrity on television years ago, her name was Ann Curry, and she says, do what you can do for others so that when your life comes to an end, you will know that it mattered that you were here. And I live by that every day, and it's because of Jeunesse I'm able to make a difference in other people's lives. Thank you so much. I know that Your Majesties care so much about your people and wanting to enhance and change their lives. I hope that Jeunesse can be that vehicle for you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, Paula. I see our president is clapping there. I don't know how can the spotlight go so that you can meet our president, but I think he will say a few words before you leave. You will be with us, am I correct? To the end? Yeah, you are muted, Paula.
I'm sorry, we've run behind, and so I have to be somewhere else, but I really appreciate all that you do in your organization and all that the Aido Network does, and I appreciate you having me on board. Thank you so much.
Great. So let us have just a few words then from our president, His Excellency Mr. Iganda.
Thank you very much, Paula Richard. You've spoken very well. Aido Jeunesse, we already have Aido Jeunesse with Aido Global Africa Team Ageless. We are together, and we believe that the business is good for Aido. It's going to help our members, our network, to be earning some passive income. So this is the way to go. So this is a very, very welcome move for us as an organization. And indeed, we shall be working together to grow this. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our president. Thank you very much, Paula, for such a wonderful opportunity even to us. And thank you so much to our president as well. We thank you for this relationship. Now we know, now we are free. Jared, are you around? We would like to hear from you. Jared is the GM of Jeunesse Africa.
Hi,
Just
everyone.
briefly, there we go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our dignitaries, your excellencies. Thank you for having me on. You've heard from the absolute superstar of our company, Paula Pritchard. I don't think I could really add a lot to what she's saying. I thought I'd start by sharing with you, I've been in this industry best part of over 15 years, and there was always this one quote from Nelson Mandela that I live by, and I wanted to share with it because it ties into what I believe is the legacy, the involvement that Jeunesse is trying to provide. So this quote, I think just is everything. It says there is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. To me, that speaks volumes. That is just everything. Don't settle for small. There is no passion to be found in settling for small. We are all built for greatness, but sometimes we lose sight of that, and sometimes we just need to partner with someone that can show us the way, and that's really the legacy that Jeunesse has provided. I wanted to join a company that was hungry and bold and determined to become number one. If we look at the DSA rankings around the world, we are currently number 14 in the world. But our owners, our CVO, we are determined to become number one. And I wanted to partner with a company that was as hungry, as determined to climb. Because let's face it, Africa is not an easy place to do business. It is a graveyard of companies that have come and gone for many, many years. We have all experienced it, we've all seen it, and I wanted to choose a company that was as committed to the success of our people as they were in making profits and making money. Make no mistake, Jeunesse is a business. We thrive on making money and being successful, but we want to do it where we can empower and encourage everyone else to enjoy that. Since joining Jeunesse 4 years ago, we started with a handful of countries in Africa. We are now registered in over 30 countries, or represented in over 30 countries in Africa. We have 3 major hubs that supply the African region. We are finding better ways and logistics to supply Africa. We are finding better ways to pay our distributors commissions instantly. Because what you have is you have a first world company. Jeunesse is a first world company with everything we need to be successful. But you have to marry first world economics and logistics and company with third world realities. We can't mistake that we are still hamstrung by third world realities, and overcoming that becomes essential. And I've partnered with a company in Jeunesse that is determined to overcome those. We now have over 100,000 distributors continent-wise. We have had sales increase of 82% this year. I think that speaks volumes in itself, because in a year that we can all agree has been incredibly harsh and difficult, we have a situation where we are 82% up in sales over 2019. And that has everything to do with the fact that we have a vehicle, as Paula said, that is in the future. The future is an opportunity that people have to make an income, be it a couple of dollars or a few $1,000s, but the logistics and the system and the product that go hand in hand to make that possible. So 82% up in sales, over 100,000 people joining this year alone. We continue to break new ground in the African continent, and I'm excited for 2021. I cannot tell you, we've got new products launching. We launch our new aloe product, which I know is going to absolutely explode on the African continent. We know the power of aloe. We know all the advantages that it brings. So this is just another advantage we have to really build that market. As I said, can't tell you how excited I am about 2021 because we are going places, and that's me.
What we would like you to say is, I am an Aidoer, because Jared, here we are now talking Aido Jene, so we call ourselves Aidoers. We are also the #1, particularly in the continent, so that's why we married you. That's why we said we can partner with you, because we also had to do our due diligence, and we thought, can we take this girl that is called Janice, because we are very choosy, we are classy as well as Aidoers. So in the chat, all the Janice people, they know what we do back at home. We say what? Greatness, greatness, greatness in the chat, please. Because we are billionaires, we are millionaires like that, we are Aidoers like that. So you can put and say, Aido for greatness, Aido for greatness, Aido for greatness. So Jared, thank you very much. And then what I wanted to know from you is, now, how do you envisage this relationship in Africa? We are talking post-COVID-19. We are talking about the economical recovery for our people, for our communities post-COVID-19. How do you see this marriage or this vehicle that we as Aido, we are the vehicle for development and even integration of Africa? Here now we have Janice and we have you with Team Ageless in Africa. How do you see this working together for the development or even helping our communities to recover post-COVID-19 economically? Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. The key to it has to be a faster route to door-to-door service. So Africa has many complications in terms of setting up registrations, product, and we navigate that by a very international model like Amazon would do. Direct sales, door-to-door service, and our goal for 2021 is to shorten the logistics timing. So during COVID, people were experiencing delays in receiving their products, anything from 5 to 6 weeks to receive their product. We have now improved that logistics. You will see from now, we will see that improve to between 7 and 10 days. So you'll get your product door to door within 7 to 10 days. Obviously, bearing in mind what customs, there can be delays at customs or port health, but we will reduce that time to 7 to 10 days, and we will continue to do that. As we partner with better logistics company, the goal is to improve the cost on courier, duties and taxes. Unfortunately, those are company dependent, but definitely in speeding up the time it takes you to order and get your product. And then we're an international company. We want to pay you in your US dollars directly into your bank account. We have a system that is able to pay our distributors every week. I'm sure everyone would like to get a check every week. Well, that's what we have, and we are partnering with different PayPal solutions to make sure that that facilitates even just a little simpler. We're a little bit behind in terms of maybe understanding computers. As Africans, slightly older generation, IT and computers scare us, but we're going to take a lot of that guesswork out and make it a lot more streamlined and a lot easier for your people, your members, to be able to know exactly what they need to do, how to do it, so that they can benefit quickly.
Right. We say our people. We say Aido. Aido. You heard what Paula said. Paula has already said it. Aido. We are Aidoers. We are Aidoers.
Yes, Aido.
Yes. Yes. That's what we wanted to hear. Jora, thank you very much. And may we continue and seeing our communities and seeing even as Aidoers, as Janice, let us all grow together. Right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, Lady Mpo, there's something. Thank you. I think we are going to have a video before we go to Lady Mpo. Lady Mpo. May we have the video?
Beautiful greetings from Africa. They say the biggest disease in Africa is poverty. And I say Africa is very rich. Africa is rich because it has got people with dreams. If you don't have dreams, you will be poor for the rest of your life.
Hi, I'm Jared Thwaites, GM for Jeunesse Global Africa. We help individuals and organizations unleash their utmost health and wealth potential. I'm very excited that we as Jeunesse Global Africa will be participating in the upcoming Aido Network virtual business and investment event taking place on the 20th and 21st of November 2020. I would like to invite all of you to participate. We at Jeunesse Global Africa will be sponsoring 3 individuals to be part of the Aido Jeunesse family in the following ways. Enter a competition and stand a chance to win a business seed injection and be a partner in the billion-dollar company. The 3 winners will each receive the following: an opportunity to own a business in a leading online business trading in more than 147 countries and 6 continents, a package. Hi, I'm Jared Thwaites, GM for Jeunesse Global Africa. We help individuals and organizations unleash their utmost health and wealth potential. I am very excited that we as Jeunesse Global Africa will be participating in the upcoming Aido Network virtual business and investment event taking place on the 20th and 21st of November 2020. I would like to invite all of you to participate. We at Jeunesse Global Africa will be sponsoring 3 individuals to be part of the Aido Jeunesse family in the following ways. Enter a competition and stand a chance to win a business seed injection and be a partner in the billion-dollar company. The 3 winners will each receive the following: an opportunity to own a business in a leading online business trading in more than 147 countries and 6 continents, a package of youthful body enhancement products which will be delivered to your doorstep anywhere in the world, a continuous support, training and mentorship by the industry's top leaders and experts, all the marketing material and business tools you need, a business bank accounts powered by Equity Bank in all the countries where they all have the presence. All the above exciting packages to the value of over $3,000. For more details on how to enter the competition and to know more about the Jeunesse business opportunity, please be part of the Zoom briefings on the following dates: the 14th, 16th, and 18th of November, starting at 8 p.m. SA time. Zoom link will be shared in different platforms. The final draw will be at the Aido Network Virtual Conference on the 21st of November 2020. Indeed, Africa is ready to partner in business and prosperity. Look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mempo, do you have the parting words?
I am
as we conclude.
Thank you so much. We are so grateful to be part of Aido, and we have all been welcomed with warm hands for one purpose only: changing lives. Let's continue to change one life at a time. Before we know it, there'll be many of Africans whose lives would have been changed. Thank you very much, Aido. Keep on changing lives. Thank you.
Thank you. That's how we do it at Aido. Other 3 people, potential billionaires, they have just won a wonderful, whopping USD 3,000 package, including marketing, products, and everything that they need, even being helped, being mentored, without paying a cent, without paying for rent of any office. Thank you very much to Aido Jeunesse. Thank you for the platform. Thank you for this relationship. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we move forward. We are now really nearing the end of our session of today. May we please hear from cultural space from Southern Africa. Southern Africa, and by the way, your program director is the vice president of Southern Africa, Aido Southern Africa, even if I have to say so. They say don't blow your own horn, but if not me, who else? Can we have Princess Nikki Webam, Director, Royal People Development Services, Founder and Chairperson, African Youth Indigenous Leaders? May we have Hello, Princess Nikki Webam, Your Highness. Do we have Mr. Ramabaka Abel Timule, who is the owner of a poultry farm and consultant in mining and agriculture.
Okay, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Do your presentation, Madam.
Okay, it's an evening on my side. Greetings to His Excellencies, the President of Aido. I'd also like to greet the kings and the queens, the panel, the guests that have spoken for the 2 days of this Aido Business Summit. I'm Princess Nikki Wabam from the Mbondomise Kingdom in the Eastern Cape here in South Africa. I will be presenting on culture. That is, I will be just going through the cultures that are here in South Africa. Princess, do I have a presentation there, the slides? Is there anyone that is assisting me with the slides?
Hello?
All right, I think I should just continue talking. South Africa is one of the mostly diverse countries in Africa. So even though we are still colonized, because even the word South Africa is just a geographic description, but it's previously known as Azania, because if we talk of South Africa, it's like we're saying it's the south of our lovely continent, which is Africa. So, but I will definitely present on the 9 provinces that we have, starting from KZN, we have KwaZulu-Natal. So in KwaZulu-Natal, we have the Zulu Kingdom. So I will say the Zulu Kingdom because that is currently what we have in that area. But we also have the Hlubi Kingdom under His Majesty King Langalbalele II. The Zulu Kingdom being under His Majesty King Zwelithini. Then we have a mixed tribe in KZN, which is KwaZulu-Natal. We have mostly some tribes come from the Eastern Cape, from different kingdoms as well, due to the migrations and the civil wars that have taken place. So you will find different clans, different cultures, and so on. But what we know about the Zulu people is that they are very, very, very proud of their culture. So when you come up, you will come to the Eastern Cape. So in the Eastern Cape, you will find your Xhosa people, you will find Amampondo, you will find Amampondomise, you will also find Amahlubi. So Amahlubi is one of the groups that have integrated a lot in most of the cultures here in South Africa. You will find Amahlubi in most of other countries, including Swaziland. Okay, so in the Eastern Cape, we have Amampondo. So I think if someone can actually just move with the slide, because I don't have the control, but just keep moving. Okay, so in the Eastern Cape, we have Amampondo. They have their own language, which is still in development, because remember, in South Africa, we might have 12 official languages, but we still have indigenous people that still want to bring their own languages. For instance, Amahlubi, they have their own language that they are still developing right now with the language board. We also have Amampondo, Abomtrampim. In the Eastern Cape, we have Amampondo Mise, which is also one of the nations that have integrated a lot in the Xhosa tribes because of colonization and because of migrating to different places within the Eastern Cape. And we actually lost a lot of the culture. We lost also the languages and so on. So I can't really say that what language do Amampondo Mr. speak, but we still have Amampondo, which are closely related to Amampondo Mr. You will find Amatembu. Also, when you look into the cultures in the Eastern Cape, you find that when it comes to language, if I'm from the side of Mthatha, Qunu, Ngobo, I might speak a slightly different language compared to someone that comes from the Ciskei region, that is close to East London, close to King Williamstown, and so on. So when you get to that region, we have a kingdom there that is known as Amahaghabe. So that is still part of the Xhosa kingdom. So we have Tsaleka and Amahaghabe. That is part of the Xhosa kingdom. So they are different. The way that we dress is not different, but you will find that there are certain things like in our language that you'll hear, even when you describe the beads that we wear and their originality, there is always it's similar, but not exactly the same. So we do differ a bit according to the areas where we are. And in the Eastern Cape, we also have Abatembu, Basehode. So it's also not as different from the Tembus that is under His Majesty King Zwelibanze Dalindyebo, which is based in Mthatha. Okay, so we have Amahlubi, Amaxhosa, Amampondo Mise, Abatembu. We have Amampomvana in the Eastern Cape. You will see that when we have Idugu, you know, if maybe you can show my picture, we have Idugu. So you'll see from the way that we would design Idugu letu that we actually from different regions in the Eastern Cape. The way we dance, the way the women dress up, you'll find women dressing up in what we call isikaka, which is made from a sheep skin. The women take the sheep skin and they will remove the wool and clean it, and they will make something like a skate. So we call that isikaka. But when you come to other areas, you find that women, when they wear isikaka, they are actually wearing umbhaco, and they also name it as isikaka, but it's different. So what we wear, it's what we call umbhaco, which is this cotton always decorated with beads and stuff. But also for women, we have isikaka, that is like women, married women, because it's mostly for certain rituals. You don't find it women just wearing it. You'll find women wearing it for certain rituals, for certain occasions that are also sacred to that particular clan. Okay, then we have different kinds of beads. Most of the time, the beads actually say a lot. Even though our culture is a bit distorted, we, as the new generation, we still have a lot to learn in terms of what colors and what it means. And some of you might maybe know of the Zulu culture, where they have what they call a love letter. So they actually make some beads, some designs that speak a language, because our culture says a lot about us. The way we dress says a lot about us. The colors that we wear says a lot about us. The blue colors from KwaZulu-Natal, you find that if you're not married, you cannot put the black skates or the black hat, but it actually differs, especially with designs as well. But if you're wearing blue and maybe other colors, it actually says that you are available, you are not yet married. So then you will find that the beads that you wear, the colors that you wear, they represent something. A man must know that this lady is still available. This lady is not married. This woman is married. This one is still ichichi. That means still a virgin, you know, because if you check in KwaZulu-Natal, they still preserve their culture. They still have the girls, the maidens that go and get checked if they haven't actually so well, yes, so we still have such things that are happening. And even with the Xhosas, we have Inqiyo. So Inqiyo actually is the beads that young girls used to wear, and they will only cover their front part, and the back will just be out, and you won't really mind. As a young girl, you will walk on the streets wearing like that, and your breast out, you know. So like that is what we see currently, even with the Amachichi, the maiden girls from KZN, from Swaziland, and so on. So it's our culture. That is how we've always sort of know, okay, this one is still a virgin, this one is no longer a virgin, because of the way you dress and because of the beads that you wear. And also, if in the Mpondo land, Amampondo, the Mbondos, they also have the beads. So there, if you're wearing one color of the beads, it shows that you still, no, you haven't actually met a lot of men. But when you wear a bead with a lot of colors as a woman, it actually signals something to a guy that, okay, you have been to maybe different relationships and you are not yet married. And it's different when it comes to men. You'll find that with men, if you have a lot of beads, like when you go to a function, you will have a lot of beads on you, it actually means that you have been shelling amantombazana. That means the girls like you. You know, the girls like you, and the way they show they're admiring and so on is through making such beads for you. Okay, can you please stop here so that I can just cover all the cultures, then I will talk about food. All right, so the beads, I still believe that some people think that beads are for sangomas or traditional healers or something. It's not like that. It's because as people, as Black people, we are spiritual and we get some gifts from our ancestors, which we have to accept. And when you accept a calling, you will have to be the way that your ancestors have been, and you practice what they have practiced, because you accept a gift from someone who is no longer in the physical world, but in the spiritual world. So with the beads that the sangomas wear, it's actually the same beads that we wear as for our occasion as accessories, but they are always given a certain design. For instance, you will see that they wear black and white, they wear red and white, they wear yellow, they actually mix colors. Even those beads that they wear, they also have meanings behind. You will know that there are people that will say ndithwasa isinguni, Islam like ngumndao. So when you hear such things, Nguni, Munzawu, Xhosa, and so on, these are the people that have lived during those times that actually now say, look, here is a gift for you. This is what I want you to do. And the way that dance is also ancient, it's like the olden days dance. That's why sometimes if you find groups that are dancing like traditional dances, you'll find that they actually dance like sangomas. It's because that is the traditional, that is the indigenous way of dancing. It doesn't make them sangomas, but they are like sort of doing the way that is needed, the way that is like sort of close to original, if I may say. All right, so I move from the Eastern Cape, I come to the Ndebele Nation in Gauteng, Mpumalanga. I think you have seen the pictures. In the Ndebele Nation, you'll find that we have King Makosonga Mabena, we have His Majesty King Mapoko Mahlangu, and we also have a lot of other clans and indigenous groups in the Mpumalanga region. They wear those beautiful blankets, like the rainbow ones, your red, yellow, and blue. They are very famous with their paintings and their designs. Currently, if you go to the shops, you'll find Rice Tastic is actually having a Ndebele design. So they are very famous.